Okay, now we're up to the ovens, and we're going to show exactly how the ovens work. Before I get to speak to the oven, about the oven, not to the oven, I'm not speaking to the oven, I just want to put it on for a little bit to show you something. Okay, now, the oven, like we mentioned in the beginning, like all utensils, the oven cannot be used for 24 hours with hametz, and it has to be condition number 2. It has to be cleaned very, very well on the inside. Okay, and then only then can one begin to kosher the oven. Now we're going to take a look inside of my oven. I'm put on my flashlight a little bit, and I'm going to show you what has to be done from the inside. We can take a closer look. Let's go down. Okay. So I don't need my flashlight. I have the fire inside showing me what to do. Can you get a picture of it? Can we see? Okay. You see how the fire is from the inside. If you have this, which comes up on broil, you have a great advantage, because the fire is, according to halakha, the fire being on the inside does a lot, much better than the fire being underneath the bottom tray, where it's on the outside of the oven. Okay, so you see how the oven has to be completely clean. There's the grates inside the oven, which I'm careful not to touch. Okay, don't clean your oven when it's on, please. Make sure the oven is off and cold. Clean it. Don't use it for 24 hours. And then you want to know how to kosher it. We'll explain like this. The best way to kosher the oven is if you have it self-clean. Now self-clean is right here. If you could get a picture of the dial over here. There's a self-clean mode. Now what happens is when you press self-clean and you start it, it says 4 hours and 20 minutes, and some have different time. You don't have to do that. You don't have to put it on for 4 hours. 1 hour is sufficient. What self-clean means is that it puts it on a very high temperature, which allows the oven to continue cooking, continue going on without a set temperature. And temperature could reach up to 800, 900, perhaps even more Fahrenheit. So you don't have to keep it that hot even. 700 is sufficient. So if you put on self-clean for 1 hour, that koshers the whole oven plus the grates inside. That is already sufficient based on the different poskim. That's good enough to do. Hakam Badia also says you can do such a thing. The next thing that a person could do if he doesn't have self-clean is after cleaning the oven and after not using it for 24 hours, what a person could do is put on the highest temperature, and once you have it on the highest temperature, keep it like that for an hour and a half, and that should be able to take care of it as well. We mentioned when it comes to the stoves that the grates, if one used it for pita, putting bread or any other bread directly on it, it needs also libun. This is a form called libun that we mentioned at the beginning of the video. So the grates also could go on the inside of the oven, and let's show you for a little bit over here. Placing it on the inside, and that would work as well without the need to blowtorch it. It is preferable, if a person can, to remove it on the side afterwards, but really you don't have to, because once it reaches, what libun is doing over here is that the fire is not directly hitting it. What it is that it's reaching a temperature, a very high temperature, we said of 700 degrees, which already, according to many poskim, that takes away any beliaot, any flavor that's absorbed inside of them. So this is how to kosher the oven. If there's any questions, you may email us or ask your local rabbi.